Hello friends, today we will talk about the career roadmap of a cloud engineer, one of the highest searched or looked after job in the market. We will go by step. I'll draw out the whole roadmap for you and some skills which you want to learn along the way. But before that, let's go to naukri.com and do a simple search for the jobs we have in the market right now for cloud engineer. Just see what Naukri returns. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of openings right now. Almost 14,000 records have come by, and we have not put in any filter. But as you can see, this is one of the most looked after job now. You have other roles as well, but cloud engineer is one of the most sought after job in the market, and companies are actively looking for people who can manage their cloud as an engineer. But the question remains that who is a cloud engineer? So, what cloud engineer actually does? So, cloud engineer actually has the multiple roles to play on cloud. Okay, so the basic roles which includes are deploy. So they have to deploy the infrastructure, they have to manage it, they have to manage, they have to monitor, they have to also optimize it for cost so that whatever we are running is not very costly. They have to also learn how to scale cloud infrastructure. They have to understand the aspects of security. They need to know networking. So it's a mixed bag role. Then you have to also now learn a bit about automation, what kind of automation you need to do. And last but not the least, now a bit of AI ML knowledge is also required. So as you can see, it's a mixed bag of multiple things which an engineer, okay, so if he is the cloud engineer, he has all the responsibility to manage on cloud. Okay, so now let's see what we can do. Like if suppose we are starting today, what steps we have to take. So I have kind of made this kind of a roadmap which can be applicable for a beginner as well as for an intermediate. So you can skip some certain steps along the way. So yeah, let's do that. So let me just come here. So let's take step by step. So for example, if suppose we let's start from step one. Okay, step one. So let me write here cloud engineer. So number one step in this journey, okay, would be your foundation, building a strong foundation. Now, what does it mean? It means that either you come from a non-IT background or you come from an IT background. You need to have a basic foundation of IT, okay, even before we touch the cloud. What does that include? That will include knowledge about how operating system works, how network works at a basic level. By the way, we have the full playlist about networking on our channel, so you can check it out. You need to know databases, for example, how databases work, a bit of uh, Python if you can, although it's not mandatory, it's optional at this stage, but eventually you will. So basics of Python, you don't need to learn object-oriented programming, but basic scripting and stuff like that you have to, okay? Then apart from that, you need to understand Linux. So when I say operating system, okay, so this actually boils down to Linux and Windows. Obviously, you will know Windows. Okay, so all this has to be understood. You need to understand the basics of, for example, firewall. What is TCP, IP, all these kind of concepts you need to know. What is a join, a database join. So basically, the whole foundation has to be laid. Now, if you do not come from an IT background, or if you have not done your engineering in IT, it might sound overwhelming. I understand, but no one is asking you to master everything. You don't have to master all this, okay? You need to know the basics of it. And that is very, very reasonable ask. Okay, right now you have so many. so many tools, Gen AI tools as well, and then you have a lot of certifications. There is, I think, on Coursera you have IT Foundation certification as well. Maybe I'll link certain certifications in the description. But yeah, and if you don't want to pay for it, then there are free courses which you can opt for. So maybe I'll link those as well. Okay, so this is your step one. So step one is building the foundation. What is step two? Now at step two, we assume that we have the basic IT knowledge. So we don't know what is cloud, but we know how traditional IT works, what happens in a traditional IT setup. Now coming to cloud two, sorry, step two is cloud basics. Now when I say cloud basics, it means fundamental, fundamental, fundamentals of cloud computing. So you need to understand why we need cloud. Okay, what are the features of cloud computing? What is IaaS, infrastructure as a service? What is software as a service? What is, for example, platform as a service? Now we have database as a service. We have function as a service. So what are these services? When we say service, what is it? So you need to understand that someone is, so basically what cloud is, if we have to just see, so it's basically you're renting IT. You're renting IT. So basically the likes of Google, uh, Amazon, Microsoft, okay, all these people are renting their IT infrastructure to different companies so that they don't have to build their own IT infrastructure. So yeah, I think most of the audience will be at step two by now, and if not, then I think yeah, we have to first finish these two steps. So once you know this, and maybe the names of basic cloud providers like AWS for, so Amazon provides AWS, and then GCP, and Microsoft provides Azure. Okay, so basic understanding of your cloud has to be there. Now coming to step three, from here the actual game starts. Okay, this is where the game starts. So now at step three, you have to you have to now understanding cloud at a finer detail. So for that, you have to first of all pick one cloud, because if you can master one cloud very nicely, then rest all will follow. Okay, rest all will follow, because all these cloud concepts remains similar, more or less similar across different clouds. So pick one cloud. For example, AWS is the leader. You can start with AWS, and you start from there, because that could be a very normal choice for you. There are so many services, but if you want, we have this simple 129 AWS services simplified cheat sheet. Okay, so you can come to this website. This is my website. You can come and you can download this cheat sheet. Okay, and if you want, we'll come to the course later. If you want, you can explore that as well, but yeah, let's go back. So pick one cloud, understand all the basics of AWS. So AWS basics, all the AWS core services, what these are used for, what is S3, what is EC2, okay, what is Lambda, what is Redshift, what is VPC, virtual private cloud. All these kind of concepts have to be there. You have to understand, you have to give good time here. So let me just mark it with a different color right now. So this is a very important step. Don't try to rush it, because if you give good attention here, your journey ahead will be a lot easier. Okay, so don't try to rush to learn too many clouds at one time. Stay here as much as you can. Okay, and for that, if you want, there is a course which we have here. You can just go here and see, we have covered cloud computing. So step 2 and step 3, everything is covered under this course. You can explore it if you feel like it is something which can help you, then you can go about it. All the core services have been covered in this course. So yeah, you can check it out and you can use the offer code AWS 2025 here, which will give you 65% off, which is the current offer going on. Okay, so yeah, back to our video. So now step 3 is done. Now coming to step 4. Now, from here, we have started getting deeper into the our cloud engineer journey. Okay, so here we assume that after step 3, we know one particular cloud really well. We have understood the core services. We understood at a basic level what we have done, how we work. So you have to understand how we work on cloud using CLI, using basic cloud shell. All those kind of concepts you have to learn at this particular level, but even if you can learn it using graphical user interface, that is also sufficient at this particular level when you are on one cloud. But eventually, if you are going towards a cloud engineer role, you have to understand how you can manage cloud programmatically. But we'll come to it later. So just imagine that you have understood AWS nicely. You know the core services overall. Now we go to the next step, which is multi-cloud approach. Because now almost all the openings which you will have multi-cloud. So what you have to do after you have done AWS, you can pick one more cloud. So you can either combine it with Azure or GCP, whichever you feel. Generally, people go with Azure because these two are the market leaders. But yeah, based on your requirement and where you are working, you can do. And then go about doing the same stuff which you did here with Azure, for example. Okay, so for Azure, the services will be different. So you will have Azure VNet, for example. For in place of VPC, you will have VNet. Then you will have Azure DevOps. You will have different, different Synapse. There are too many. There are too many. But again, I am not giving you the time, but every horizon here is in weeks, few weeks to months. Okay. So understanding the foundation, you can say that you can do well by 1 month, 1.5 month here. Then cloud basics, I think you can very well finish within 15 days here. Okay. If you do give good time. Step 3 is the time where you should give at least 1 to 2 good months here. Okay, at least in fact 3 if you have. So 1 to 2 months give yourself in this particular step, and at this step also you need to give enough time. So it will be also 1 to 2 months here. Okay, now because we are going into the basic as well as some of the advanced concepts. Okay, so now step 4 is there. Step 4 is kind of the same step but with multi-cloud approach. Now comes the step 5, and from step 5 things start becoming even more advanced. So in step 5 what you will do, you will start understanding the concept of DevOps slash automation. Now the caveat is no one is asking you to become a DevOps engineer, but as a cloud engineer you will be working closely with the DevOps team. Okay, and that's why you need to understand the tools which you will need in order to automate certain aspects of your whole DevOps pipeline. For example, you need to know what is infrastructure as a code. You need to know how we can use Terraform. So instead of creating EC2 instances using a GUI, you will simply write a script in Terraform and that will do the job for you. You need to understand Docker containerization, Docker containers. Okay, how we can package an application in a Docker image, okay, and then deploy it. Then we have to, for orchestration, we have to understand what is Kubernetes and how we can use Kubernetes. We need to know Jenkins, for example. Again, not at a level which a DevOps engineer per se will have, but at least you will have this. Again, one important thing which I have missed, actually, that should actually I should have mentioned somewhere here, but I think you have to fundamentally understand how Git works, what how we do version control of the code. Okay, so you need to understand all this infrastructure as a code, Docker container, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Git, version control. All these things comes under DevOps automation. And again, this is a very advanced step. I think if you go deeply into it, then I'm actually I'm being very aggressive about these timings, considering that you will be on a mission to finish it. But even then, I would say 2 to 3 months here. 2 to 3 months you will take if you want to truly do it very, very nicely. Okay. So now coming to the next step, which is after step 5, which is your DevOps and automation, you will add another flavor into your arsenal, another armory or another weapon in your arsenal, which is at step 6, and that is adding security. Okay, so now you have to get deep into what is identity and access management. Now you will have a bit a flavor of it here somewhere in at step 3 only you will understand that. Okay, for example, in our course, if you see, we have here, if you see, we have covered IAM in depth, but it is at a beginner level. Now, when you go to this particular step, you need to know IAM at a much deeper level. You need to understand what is encryption, how we use different kinds of encryption, what is key management service, what kind of cybersecurity standards we have to adhere to on cloud. All those kind of things you have to understand at step 6. So security becomes a very important aspect of your overall profile, overall knowledge as a cloud engineer. I would again give here um, 1 to 2 months. Okay, I'm being very genuine about this approach. I'm thinking that you will be on an aggressive roadmap, and that's why I'm giving. But people, I'll be very honest. Some people will give their whole career focusing only on cloud security. So there are different roles like cloud security architect or engineer. Okay, but as a cloud engineer you need to know enough, you need to be working with all these different peoples and teams, so that's why you need to know these facets of security. Okay, so coming to the next step, which is step 7. So now with step 7 we have another important aspect uh, of our journey, which is again I would say let's take 1 month for now, and that is monitoring, optimization, and controls. Okay, so basically you need to know all the tools, all the services which we can utilize as a cloud engineer to monitor our cloud. For example, uh, we need to master AWS CloudWatch. We need to understand what is VPC flow logs. We need to understand how we enable tracing. Okay, we have to have an understanding of what is incident management, how we adhere to our SLAs, service level SLAs and KPIs, what is our response time. All these kind of things will come under your monitoring, optimization, and control aspect. And it is a very important aspect, guys, because you need to be proactive in your overall approach as far as cloud engineering is concerned. You cannot be reactive. Yes, you there will be times where you will be reactive, but if you know things well in advance, if you're monitoring your cloud closely, for example, you need to keep an eye on your cost. how you are burning cost. I know that there is a dedicated FinOps department for it, but they will also rely on you guys for monitoring it. They will only set the frameworks. They will not come and monitor the cost. So you have to, you have to monitor your whole cloud platform very closely. So now somewhere here things starts to shape up really nicely. Okay, so now I assume that after spending so much time, somewhere here we start to realize that okay, let's put a stamp on our learning. So this is the stamping authority. And how we stamp our authority? We stamp our authority at step 8, and that is through certifications and projects. So certification, there are many certifications. So the beginner level certification would start with, for example, AWS Cloud Practitioner. That's a that's a certification which you can start with. You have Azure Fundamentals, again a very good. And I'm not saying that you have to do it right at this particular level. It can happen that you try to attempt it the moment you finish your step 3. Okay, so if I have to zoom out a bit, it might happen that some of these basic certifications, okay, you try to attempt somewhere here, maybe, or for example, somewhere here, because these are beginner level. But don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush to, to do this. First, understand the concepts and then only attempt these kind of certifications, because certifications in itself without experience does not mean a lot. Then you will have advanced certifications also. And by the way, guys, there is a separate section where we have talked about here somewhere, AWS career path. Okay, all the things, what all certifications and career paths we can take from there is has been discussed quite in detail here. So yeah, I will keep it short. You have to do certification, but the important point is that you have to then, after along with your certification, you have to, uh, you have to maybe participate in some hackathons, or maybe some open source projects, and then you have to showcase those um, into your GitHub account. Okay, so you have to do this. You have to do this. If you are lucky, by this time you are already be a part of a cloud project in your company, in your existing job, and there you are getting your experience, so that can also happen. So a very important step, you have to work on projects, you have to work on real projects. Without that, all this knowledge fades away. That's the harsh reality of learning, that if you are not implementing even after spending 18 years in IT, it's a brutal truth which I face daily, that if I'm not working on something, I forget it. So the same thing will happen with you. So there's no point of doing all this and then sitting hoping that we will get something. If you're not getting a job, then try to find new projects. You can also join communities. Okay, so that can also form a part of this journey, where you can join cloud communities on Reddit, for example. So certification, projects, networking, all that you will stamp an authority. You can start posting or acknowledging different posts, follow different mentors on LinkedIn. Okay. So all this will definitely help you. Okay. So now coming to, I think, the last step, which I feel will be in this sequence, which is step 9. And step 9 is more about refining your profile. So now you know that okay, you are a cloud engineer, you have learned so much and everything, but now what you have to do, you have to understand the art of getting the foot in the door. What does that mean? That means that you have to understand the art of formalizing your CV based on different profiles, okay, different job openings. So you have to read the job openings, then you can use Chat GPT or certain other tools, and then you have to refine your CV. You have to refine your positionings, your cover letter, everything. So you have to customize CV, add keywords, add keywords, get referrals if possible in that particular company, get referrals, and then you can you can also simulate using AI, Gen AI. You can simulate interview rounds. Okay. I'm planning to add a new module in the course. In this particular course, I'm planning to add a new module where I will guide the learners how to use AI, Gen AI tools for success in cloud. So yeah, that's in the pipeline. Not sure when it will be out, but whenever it is, I'll put a post on the community. So yeah, I think by this step, I think we should have a good job. That's what I feel. That's what I hope, that after following this journey, which is somewhere around, what should I say? So if I have to just check, so it looks as if it is somewhere around 6 to 9 months journey. I would say some things you can do in parallel as well, but don't don't think that it is something which is very quick. It will take some time. You have to work. It could be expedited based on your learning. So, for example, if you are already working in cloud, then you can, maybe you already are working on AWS, then you are already at step 3. You have to just pick up at step 4. You could be already working in DevOps cloud, then you are already at step 5. You have to just pick it up. Some of these steps can be parallel as well. So while you're doing step 4, you can initiate step 5 and step 6 slightly. So what I mean to say is that you can have this journey like this. So your step 1, then step 2. So this is sequential, but at step 3, at step 3, you can start doing things a bit in parallel. Okay. So this will save time. So step 4, step 5, like this, like this, you can continue your journey, and it can reduce the amount of time it will be, it will need. So yes, friends, I think yeah, this is it. I wanted to showcase this path to you. I hope this will be of use to you. So just to summarize, step 1, foundation; step 2, cloud basics; step 3, pick one cloud; step 4, multiple clouds; DevOps automation, security; then monitoring, optimization and control, certifications and projects; and then refining your profile for getting those calls, those interview calls. Okay. Uh, I think one thing which I would say is, I have mentioned it, but again, in the beginning I mentioned it, but I forgot to mention it here, is that now certain skills would be mandatory. So let me just put, so you will need a bit of understanding of how AI ML works, how we use LLMs, how we use to work, how we work with APIs. Okay, we have to also understand how Gen AI tools can help us. uh, Again, all these things, you have to have basic Python, but apart from Python, if you can master another language, that would be a plus for you. So yeah, that these are the things which you have to do, but again, take it step by step. Nobody knows everything. Okay, there would be some people who would be very good in security but weak in this. Another important point is data side of it. You could be a cloud engineer who might not know very strong, you might not be very strong in security or coding, but you might have a background in data, and you know how data engineering works. Okay, so it's a mixed bag. You can't say that, okay, this kind of cloud engineer is better, that kind of cloud engineer is better. It is a mixed bag of multiple skills coming together. So yeah, guys, this is it. I hope you like this video. I'm trying these kind of new formats, and that's why you might see some glitches here and there. But thank you for watching, and if you like this video, I would say do give it a like, share, subscribe. Okay. and hit the bell icon and keep supporting ITK Fun Day channel. Thank you. Thank you. Keep learning, keep sharing, keep hustling, as we all say. Thank you so much. Bye for now.